And here's like we're getting already. Oh man, how's that for value to start with? We got literacy and our power glove.
Well, that is an incredible start. I saw a red crystal on Hera. Didn't see the others though.
Yeah, that's gonna say it's gonna change things up. Oh, Zell is just showing us.
Yeah, so
looks like. No, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
I saw red crystal desert and red crystal Hera. Didn't see Eastern though.
Both 5-6 crystals to start off with. That's actually a little bit interesting. Looks like Zell opted to check the bomb bushes to start off with, so he can get one bomb and go right to Kakariko Village. I haven't seen anything. The other three looks like they're starting to go through, at least check the uncle portions of Escape. See what they can give us.
Yeah, but unfortunately nothing really interesting there. Just some rupees and a little love. And nothing on library. Just more love. It's your love of learning and reading.
Boo.
Support your local library.
No, that's absolutely true. That's completely true. No, it's interesting. Zell finds the mirror. Okay.
All right.
This is a stack start to start. I always like looking at the difference. I really like Zell's start. I love going to the bomb bushes early. It's not something that you can always do, but it is something that's really interesting, especially since you can farm up bombs here for free. 5 bombs already because one of the rats dropped one. That's actually kind of nice.
Yeah, and it looks like we got a check on that lumberjack. I believe that was just a red rupee, so doesn't look like we'll be going in there anytime soon.
Probably not. That doesn't automatically discount that Ag is viable, though. I mean, it's still may be necessary. And Rambler, for the memes, we're getting our pen check sub 3 minutes, guys.
Aww.
A rupee horde.
Just rupees on Ped, but Zelga did find flippers in the Kugo shed, so we're just getting a bunch of items here.
Yeah, this is almost has me a little bit concerned because what they do after Kakariko is really interesting. They can either, I imagine a lot of them are going to be checking the dam area and then going over. But from there, they could go left and go over to Desert Palace, which that book strongly hints at, or they can go right, check Hobo and the Zora areas as well. And there's a moon.
Wow. All right. I'll take that. Bottle Burna in Blindside. They're just, here's an item and there's an item.
Okay, here's the thing. When in any of these seeds where the early game just throws everything at you, we have a full-on 10 out of 10 stacked Rico. It gets harder later in the game because what's going to happen is it's going to open up a lot of different areas for a lot of different checks, and we may be 1 or 2 items away for go mode, but nothing in the world is really siphoned off to us. So buckle up. This could be interesting. Sorry about the pause. Got to get everyone synced up in here. Yep, and as chat pointing out, just with the items that were available in the Lost Woods and throughout Kakariko, the South route didn't necessarily pan out today. So North route wins this one. Doesn't necessarily make it a bad decision with the information they had, but yep. Let me with the chicken clip for the memes.
You always have to go for the memes.
Unless you're like an actual serious racer or something. Hmm.
Yeah, so after Kakariko here, there's... I wonder where everyone is going to start heading. Those flippers open up a couple checks already, so no fake flippering needed.
Well, I mean, we have a few different options. The glove also opens up the treasure room in the escape sequence, which might be interesting as well. Like I said, we're still kind of in this early phase of the game where nothing really has been unlocked for us. We're still one item away from Dark World access, be it the mitts or the hammer. So we still have a bit to go and some of these early sphere checks to make.
Yeah, that is true. Chat pointing out that while we have the flippers, getting up to Zora is easy, we definitely don't have the rupees to get anything from him, if he has anything. Oh, and it looks like Zelga is going to check the back of Escape.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible for us to do a Houlihan room right now, but even with Houlihan, we're at about 100 to 150 rupees, so we're still be a little bit short. Looks like he was saving and quitting. Nothing really doing at the back of Escape, but Lemmy is going south, is going to check the dam. Looks like Xylo is actually doing a different play. He's going to go over to Eastern. Zell, meanwhile, I got to imagine he's setting up a Houlihan.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Oh! Let me get some soggy gloves. We already have our Dark World access, everyone, and it is sunken.
Well, that was fast. I agree with you there, Lemmy. I agree with you.
Yeah, and I agree with chat. That is a lot of access in our sub 8-minute mark. That's actually probably the last thing I would want because the Mitts locks off the last 3 dungeons: Ice Palace, Misery Mire, and Turtle Rock. And if you're like me, a chicken with 4 hearts and green mail, you do not want to start thinking about those even remotely right at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. You really want to, at the very least, get a better weapon before you try going over there with
So
4 hearts.
Yeah, Mini Moldorm looks like hearts, 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 bottle, money. Yeah, not a whole lot going there. Xylo, chat helped me out, but I don't think he had the bombs to check Sahasrala's closet there, did he? I think he just went straight to eat.
I think you're right. I don't think he had bombs.
That is just about terrible.
I don't even know. Can you find bombs in Eastern? I can't think of a specific drop.
No, I mean, the enemies can absolutely drop them, but it's rough. Lemmy, meanwhile...
I suppose we don't have anything to kill enemies if you don't have your bombs and no magic.
Yep. There's some bombs in Ice Rod Cave, and it looks like there was just a piece of heart that was floating on Lake Hylia. So Xylo now is going to be the only one showing us new information for a little bit. Hobo coming up directly.
Well, Xylo finding 300 rupees. I'll definitely help with Zora if he chooses to go there afterwards.
Oh! Hook shot! So we have hookshot, we have flippers, we have mirror, and we have our normal Dark World access. Swamp Palace is looking really good as soon as we step foot in there, as soon as we have an actual weapon.
Yep, and Xylo finding a hint that said a unique item is on a stump. So Stumpy has something useful, hopefully.
All right, Xylo working his way through the dark rooms there. I haven't seen anything necessarily useful in Eastern so far. Zell actually hoping he's a few rupees short for Zora, so he's hoping he gets the remainder here in this check. 10 arrows and more 10 arrows.
Nope.
Hey, Blue Goo in the waterfall ferry there. So if you feel like saving some cash, you can get some free stuff.
It looks like Zelga is going to check what's on that ledge up there at the very least, and it's money, so I guess his problems are solved.
Yeah, kind of inefficient, but we'll take it. Meanwhile, Rambler looks like he's going to be the first one into the Dark World, and we see Misery Meyer is the green pendant, Pod is the blue pendant. So that's got to tell me, yeah, Eastern Palace is our other one. That's interesting.
Yeah, you were saying Seed is pointing to Meyer a bit, but now Meyer green pendant?
Yeah, no thank you. Eternal here in chat makes a good point. It's like, technically we do need Hammer to get through Swamp, but Hammer was in the first chest on the last seed I think I was commenting on it, which was nuts. So, you know, it can happen.
I've actually seen that happen twice now.
I think that happens to me more than I see like pedestal required checks. And Zora just has a lot of love.
So it seems like nothing particularly useful in Village of Outcasts, at least not yet.
No, and I tell you what, I am super nervous whenever someone says, yeah, go ahead and do Thieves Town. You don't need the hammer going into Thieves Town. That has never been required at any point in time.
Yeah, well, you need to go into Thieves Town eventually since it's a crystal, but going in there with not really a lot to take down blind except Cane of Burna, I don't know about that.
The Rambler,
and the whole 4 hearts thing. 5 hearts.
All right, so Xylo's actually going to be our first person over to Desert. There's nothing in Agina's cave except the single arrow, and we saw Desert Ledge was a full heart container, so that might be worth picking up. Rambler is actually doing the Jeremiah loop. He already turned in our froggy friend, and then we'll be kind of doing this south loop. I don't think he's done the dig game yet, though.
Chat saying he did skip dig game.
Fire Rod and K45. That is a great pickup there. Hey, we have a weapon.
That's true. Yay. Xylo wishes he had that fire rod walking around in desert. No fire source for him.
No, which is a little bit concerning. And was that silver arrows on Stumpy?
Well, I would say that's a good unique item.
I'll take it. I mean, I'd like to have the bow first, but I'll take it.
And Xylo heading out of desert. I don't remember seeing if there was anything on Stump. Or not Stump, the torch. So not entirely sure if desert is boot slot or not. Oh, and a sword in the purple chest.
Gary's lunchbox gave us our first utensil used for cutting things. And Rambler, this is kind of really interesting. Oh, your magic power has been doubled, so half magic is on that Bombos tablet. And if he wanted to, he could turn around and do the desert area right now, but looks like he has other things in mind. He might be making a dip into that swamp palette.
Or at the very least, he's checking the hint. Boots in Turtle Rock. Interesting.
Ha! All right then.
Well, we'll definitely need to head to Turtle Rock at some point because it's a crystal, but big question is, are boots required? And when will we be heading up there?
Well, to answer your question, for any speedrunner, I would say that the boots are absolutely required because we got to go fast. Meanwhile, Rambler has given us our first type game.
Ooh, hammer.
Hey, I'll take it. Hammer and Hype Cave. And yeah, that's Rambler's like, okay, well now I can do swamp, I guess.
Since I'm over here, might as well. So Zelga is in Thieves Town right now. Fortunately, does not have that hammer that is in Hype Cave, so he won't be getting that potential item in that big chest. He did get a hint that said unique item is held by someone friendly. Does Stumpy count as someone friendly?
You know what? I will need to double check, but I think Stumpy counts as someone friendly. I think Jeremiah, the catfish isn't friendly, but also the lunchbox I think is technically friendly. But I don't know. I'd have to go back and double check.
Well, that may just be something to, keep in the back of your mind, just in case.
People who sell items to you count as friendly.
Interesting.
Oh, the witch. Oh no. Oh no. Do we have a fetch quest?
Potentially. Mushroom has not been sighted, so who knows at this point.
Old man, yeah.
Bad. Okay. Lots of people.
There are a surprising number of people who are considered friendly.
Link just has so many friends on his adventure.
Alright, so Zell is going to be doing Burnistrats on Blind. He's really got to be careful with his magic. He has the key, so there's possibly something in that treasure chest. Just depends. If he gets an item here, I think he's clear, because he still does not have the map yet. But, oh man, that was close, Zell.
Oh no.
There is something in that big treasure chest, and right now, Rambler is the only one who has checked Hype Cave. Rambler making the calls right.
Yeah, that is just unfortunate, because now that's always going to be in the back of your mind. Should I go back? Is there something useful in there? That's the risk you take when you don't have Hammer going into Thieves Town, I guess.
Yeah, and that's going to eat away at Zell for a little bit. Now, it's not going to slow down his progress. That'll be a last location sort of check, but it's going to play at the back of his mind, I think.
Lemmy getting his hammer with a few pulls on the treasure chest for good measure.
All right. So we see everyone else. Oh, there's Powder and another piece of heart. Looks like everyone else is kind of doing the general sort of Jeremiah loop right now because it seems to make sense. There's nothing else that's really opened up for it, so you're just trying to follow the breadcrumbs as best you can.
Lemmy getting his sword and slashing the locksmith there. Are you kidding me? Lemmy, does he just have a bunch of text to appear on his screen for every occasion?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, that would be my reaction too, to be honest.
Oh no, is Rambler going to do the fight of a million menus?
Yes, he is. And the worst part is his menu is like the items that are set up just make it rough. It's not an easy navigation, so looks like he's down to spit.
One heart. Yeah, he abandoned that menu play pretty quickly.
I do not blame him. That was looking rough there. Looks like Xylo might be taking a dip. Lemmy is going over here to Desert.
Rambler.
Yeah, Rambler thought about switching to the hammer, but realized I have one heart. I need to play it safe.
There we go.
I agree.
Well, Rambler picking up his first crystal.
There's Xylo picking up his hammer as well.
A unique item is in Turtle Rock. Could it be the boots?
You know, I don't know if that was ever fully explained to me by the devs, whether a single hint can refer to multiple things or not.
Yeah, that I have no idea. I'm pretty sure you can't have literally two of the same hint, like that has the exact same text. But other than that, do not know.
Oh, both of our trackers come in and say, yes, it absolutely can happen. So Mind of Me and McScruff Ninja 2 to thank you both and everyone else in chat who was able to respond to that. Well, I appreciate it. I think I know a lot about this game, and then, you know, I play a stream and I lose horribly. So I appreciate everyone expanding my knowledge.
You can have the exact same hint? I'm learning so many things today.
Right, so it looks like at this point in time, Zell, I gotta imagine Zell, after that hint, will be going into Swamp Palace as well. Rambler is cleaning up some of the places he's already recently visited, doing the hammer pegs, which, not fun without the dash boots, but it's fine. Do it the American vanilla way.
Yeah, and since he has powder, might as well check out the bat while he's over here.
Yep, good little twofer there.
Just money.
Yeah, but White Wolfos, you're forgetting the very important thing. It's not just money. It's a lot of money.
That is true. Yep, so Zelga is in fact entering Swamp, while Lemmy heads up to the boss of Desert. And on our bat today... a lamp!
Hey, that's good, at least info. I have confidence in our runners that they'd be able to do the dark rooms, but even if you're not that confident, getting it, sub 30 minutes is still one, nice, and two, that says, hey, logically, you guys should be able to go up the Death Mountain now.
Yeah, and even if our runners can, in fact, do dark rooms without using the lamp, just knowing that piece of logical information, like you said, can just be a bit of a relief. You know you're not straying way too far from logic, at the very least.
And here I thought the Batman was all into the darkness. I am the darkness. Take my lamp.
Well, he's trying to be the darkness, so he has to give you the lamp to get rid of it.
Martha! Okay, I'm done. Lemmy is actually the first one that's going full in and going ahead and taking out Landmo in Desert Palace. And I believe, based on item count, that there should be something here. Even though it's with a fighter sword, because he's out of magic.
Doing things with the intentional sword. How sad. And just a bloomerang for our troubles. But also a crystal.
All right, so man, Death Mountain has got to be next on our progression with everything we've seen, right? It just feels like Death Mountain.
Yeah, I feel like you just have to go to Death Mountain right now. There's so many checks you can do. Hera is a 5-6 crystal, so while you're up there, you can get that out of the way, and then you can check the big fairy. To me, that just seems like the place to go, but I suppose there are other checks, such as Swamp Palace for Lemmy.
Well, and it's worth pointing out that we can clear out Desert and Tower of Hera, because yeah, that's the 5-6 crystal. I think that would heavily incentivize me to try to get up there.
Yeah, I suppose chap pointing out that Skull Woods is also available. They have their fire rod. They could clear that out too if they wanted.
I like the possibility, and I think if I were in the area, I would make an attempt, but I'm also the first to admit that I am not confident in my fighter sword Mothula. Now, other runners probably would do so, but I would absolutely wait until at least I had a master sword or something.
Yeah, and unfortunately they can't just spam fire rod shots because our double magic is... we need another sword for that. Oh, that was the queen.
Yeah.
It looks like Zylu is going to head up to Death Mountain. He doesn't have that lamp because he hasn't gotten his magic powder yet. So for him, this is out of logic, but it's still a good place to go.
It still looks like it would be there. We could have something here, and don't forget we got that unique item on something friendly. This could be Old Man.
That is true. Zelda going into a cave we usually don't see. to heal himself up. Nope, just a little bit of love from the old man.
Meanwhile, Rambler's going to give us a peek into this treasure chest, and oh
Ooh,
wow.
The cape. I don't think anyone has checked Bumper Ledge yet.
I don't think they have. I mean, that's always going to be a nice item to have. But man, if something is on Bumper Ledge, it might be a while before Zell goes and gets that.
Just some money in there and Spectacle Rock.
Yep, so we will absolutely keep our eye out for the next time someone's in the Dark World in that part of the world, so we can get a check, because that could be something. But Xylo is going to be the first one. He's going to show us what's on the Ether Tablet, and then, got to imagine, a dip into Tower of Hera, which is completely, I mean, it's in logic as far as we know. He thinks it's a sequence break for the moment, but will not know for sure for a bit.
Well, that second tablet just has money, so nothing useful there. And it looks like Xylo is going to head into Hera. Might as well clear it out, you're here. 5-6 crystal, makes sense.
Meanwhile, Rambler said, yeah, I got the cape. Let's go ahead and check this Bumper Ledge out. It might be something. I think, given that our Dark World access... Oh, just 10 arrows, darn. Yeah, given our Dark World access and where it was, knowing that most people probably dipped into Thieves' Town before going and getting that hammer, that was a good play. That was a good heads up, at least double check, knowing that, hey, I might be the only one who made this check. I need to follow it.
Yeah. And I think Xylo just got a hint there in Hera saying that Big Bomb has a heart piece and a bottle, I believe. So if that's the case, then probably not going to be going in there after finishing Hera. So I guess Xylo doesn't have Desert Palace done, so he couldn't do it anyway.
Still, that's something that you would like to think about and be like, okay, you routed all in. At least we got that hint. Some bombs requires the green pendant. Okay, so we're not turning that one in.
Yeah, and Rambler and Skull Woods found the bow. So those people in chat who were saying, hey, check out Skull Woods. Yeah, that was a good play.
That was a good play. That's amazing, actually. With the silvers already, that's actually a great place because those Gibdos that are normally a gigantic pain in the Chokesh, one silver arrow to their face and they're gone.
Yeah, and at this point, when you only have Fighter Sword, having those silver arrows is just extremely useful. Oh, and Moldorm goes down right away with some great placed hammer strikes. We are having a triple boss showdown here. Argus, Lamno, and Moldorm.
And Mothula on the way.
Oh, no.
And Lemmy, I think he has a fairy.
Ah, yes. That's good.
Yeah, Xylo looks like he picked up Bombos in Tower of Hera, which is good. I think. I hope. It might be good. It might be something. It might be nothing.
Yeah, we'll have to see. It looks like he's heading over to get that portal. So we'll have the answer to our question if that was useful or not very soon.
So Rambler's in kind of a rough spot. He's got 3 hearts. He doesn't
And
have
it was
full
useful.
magic. Hey, that's nice.
Yeah, Rambler. Oh no, does he have a fairy?
Yeah, I believe he does have a fairy, but he's got to be careful. Green male, but now he's at least at full health. Damage can spiral out of control very quickly, especially when you're right up on him. He's been trying to use the hammer, but that can be really rough.
Oh no, Rambler. I
Okay,
guess he had a second fairy.
That's right. I remember he was ferrying up because he has the bug net and he had the powder, so he was getting up for that.
Well, Zylo picking up another medallion. Probably not useful unless for some reason we have to go into Mire and it happens to be Ether, but we'll take it.
I always root for Ether on Mire.
Well, it looks like Rambler did manage to beat that moth. So, 2 fairies. Good strategy.
Xylo showing us what's up on Death Mountain. So far, not a whole. I mean, okay, he's got Ether in the Dark World, but let's see what Paradox Cave has for.
Looks like Lemmy's going up the mountain too. Now, Lemmy did go into Swamp and get that magic powder, but clearly hasn't gone to the bat yet, so he'll be doing this in the darkness. And Rambler also going up the mountain, but he has his lamp. Oh, and Xylo going through Spiral Cave super, super slowly without those boots.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, nothing much in Spiral Cave, unfortunately. And now Xylo's going to be coming over here to do the other portion. But Rambler and Lemmy are now right up there with him. Rambler's the only one who's actually in Logic because he's the only one who turned in Magic Bat, but we know it's possible with all.
Our first 2 chests, Love and Blue Mail. I'd take Blue Mail.
Heck
At this
yeah.
point, at this point they have enough hearts that it's not as useful as before when they only had 4, but you still take it. And in our upper room we have money, money, bombs, money, money. Well, Paradox Cave is a cave of red rupees, but not much else. Honestly, this Death Mountain has kind of been a bust. Other than that Bombo's tablet, or Bombo's medallion that we found that led us into Turtle Rock, there really hasn't been much else here.
No, you're right. It's a little bit unusual because, and Death Mountain has a ton of checks, but given how early we had access to everything, makes sense.
So I guess the next question is, where do you think our runners will be headed after all this Death Mountain trekking?
Well, we got the bow, you know. Oh god, Eastern Pot are both pendants too.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I think at this point the optimal play would have to be Ice Palace, wouldn't it?
Yeah, probably. Unless there's something amazing here in Fight Cave. And is Zelda headed that direction? No. Headed to ice?
Yeah, he is, and just another big 20.
Well, I guess we're gonna see what's in ice.
Chat's asking, what was on pedestal? Rupee Hoard. That's, I think that's 300 rupees.
Thanks, Ice Palace. We really needed that hint to know where the book was. Rambler taking out Moldorm.
Alright, so Zell's going to be the first one showing us any new information here. Xylo looks like he's finally making the dive into Swamp Palace, which is...
Yeah, I think he's the last one to do so. Everyone else has already done their Swamp Palace plays.
You know, it is kind of amazing how we already have at least Rambler and Zell are both at 4 dungeons cleared. Zell's working on his 5th. He hasn't even done Tower of Hera yet. This seed has actually gone by very, very fast, but we are back to just finding that one item. We still need both Ice Rod and the Cane of Samaria at this point in time. And I think, honestly, I'd rather find Ice Rod than Samaria. I'd like to have everything in Turtle Rock completely walled off.
Yeah, that would be nice. I mean, we can always have the dreaded Ice Rod in Turtle Rock. But even to do anything in Turtle Rock, we first need to get that cane, so... I suppose there is that one hint tile, if you really want to go into Turtle Rock just to see what that hint tile is. Oh, and a sword. That's correct, too. We are still on our fighter sword, and we need at least a master sword to face Ganon. One would hope we find another sword, and that isn't our Go mode item, but it could be Sword Go mode. Who knows?
That would be rough, although I would expect we have enough treasures that we have to open between now and then that we'll find something. Yeah, and chat pointing out the hints in Ice Palace were worthless. There's 3 of them, which has made Ice Palace more attractive since the hint system came out. But man, has it felt worthless this time.
Yeah, I feel like Ice Palace usually has the bad hints in it. Maybe it's just personal bias or something, but it always seems to have the bad ones.
Well, by the time you get to Ice Palace, I do think you've had enough of your progression. You're only looking for 1 or 2 items, so anything it feels like it's worthless at that point in time.
That is true. Ooh.
Hey!
Alright, so that's 1 Go mode item down. We need our Cane of Samaria, and we need another sword. And then we shall be done.
Yeah, and as I mentioned earlier, I would much rather have the Ice Rod right now because that eliminates all of Turtle Rock. That means you are not going to be double dipping Turtle Rock at all.
That is true, though that does mean that we will not be getting the boots. Unless they happen to be in a chest before Laser Bridge. Because if they're go-moding Turtle Rock, they probably won't want to stop on Laser Bridge just for boots.
Well, this might be a situation where if we are still on our fighter sword, I can absolutely see them full clearing that, because Turtle Rock is not quite like Ice Palace or Swamp Palace, where you like go mode Turtle Rock is not that much faster than having to full clear it.
That is true. It's not like, say, Ice Palace, where go-moding ice is just so much faster than full clearing it. Turtle Rock, you pretty much have to go through all the way. So chat pointing out that Pod has a whole lot of chests. Potential chests to check, so maybe head there next, though. The fact that it's a pendant makes it a little less desirable, but starting to run a little low on checks.
Zell making incredibly efficient use of that fire rod. I think he got double shots on just about every time he shot that. Final bottle. Wow. Well done.
Can't go wrong with some blue goo. So let's see, Xylo finishing up Arcus here, Rambler checking out Spike Cave, which we know is not very useful today.
Yeah, so Zell is now making the high percentage play of knowing that, hey, Death Mountain looks real good right now. And I think we can all say we've seen and been there for seeds where, yeah, the last item you need for Turtle Rock is literally right next to Turtle Rock. And he does still need to get Bombos, which is required. Not really sweating too much for the lamp there. I can't imagine why.
Now, where is Lemmy heading?
Checking some of these overworlds, I don't think we've gotten an actual pyramid check yet, which we've just had too many other things to.
Yeah, I believe you're right. We know that the Fat Fairy is worthless today, but just some bombs. Pyramid, also worthless.
Oh, Lemmy doing an escape sequence now. Have we actually seen anyone do escape? I thought we had.
I don't remember. We definitely saw back of escape, but I don't think we saw any. We might have seen someone else do it. I do not remember. Chat, help us out.
Yeah, I don't think so. Hey!
Oh, there's the sword. All right. So I guess we haven't seen front of escape here. So with that Master Sword, only need Samoria. And while Master Sword is not the best for Ganon, at least you have silvers. Hopefully you find another sword while wandering around, because Tempered Sword Ganon is infinitely better than Master Sword Ganon, but you can still do it.
Agreed. Man, and if Samoria is in this basement, I don't know what I would do. I might laugh a little harder than I'm supposed to. on street.
Yeah, Chad pointing out it took us a while to find our first sword, and there was a sword right here all along.
Well, I think everyone can understand not wanting to do this front part of Escape without a reliable weapon. And by the time we had a reliable weapon and the hammer, we were already in the Dark World. Hey, Quake!
Our lovely squiggle. Though probably not needed in this run. Though who knows? Well, probably not needed in this run because... Well, I guess... Never mind. Would Samario be in Mire?
Absolutely. It just can't be on Vitreous.
That's right. Yeah, I knew you need Samario for Mire. I just forgot for a second when. So hey, maybe it was useful. Maybe you need Quake to get into Mire to find Samaria.
If I were these runners right now, I think the last thing I would want to see is, of all things, the flute. Because the flute is the only thing that's locking Misery Mire, and man, I don't want to have to dip Mire if I don't have to. Especially right now. We've managed to avoid all the pendant dungeons pretty much up to this point in time. Although Pod is looking pretty attractive because of its item density.
Well, Lemmy looks like he's checking Catfish, which I don't believe we've seen. No, that is not the correct direction. There we go.
Serger, where was Bombos? It was actually in Tower of Hera, and that unlocked our access to Turtle.
Oh, I guess Lemmy didn't do any of his... Oh, never mind. I was about to say maybe he didn't do any of his checks over here, but he might just be refilling some bottles with blue goo.
Alright, so while Lemmy faces his incoming scam, we'll see Rambler going through Ice Palace, doing very well there. Meanwhile, Zell is hoping that everything turns out. It's not going to turn out exactly like he wants it to. So once he finishes Death Mountain here, I gotta think he'll make a beeline for Pod, just because that's the most dense location left.
Yeah, that's really the place to go. Go Pod, and then if Pod has nothing, then I guess you do Eastern Palace and so on. Chat pointing out that there are some overworld checks in the Dark World that we haven't done. I don't think we've seen like Graveyard Ledge and the like.
We haven't seen Graveyard Ledge. That's something I usually see a hint for too, and I haven't seen a hint for anything above the pose either. We have seen Bumper Ledge, and it's just 10 arrows. Star Wars. The only thing we're missing, at least for no mode right now, is going to be the Cane of Samaria. Everything else is accounted for at this point in time.
That's actually a good question, chat. Has anyone checked the back of Sasha's house? Because I remember one of our runners was going to check, but they didn't have any bombs, so they couldn't.
You're right. I don't know if anyone's actually checked Saha's closet.
Yeah, so there's 3 checks right there. So that makes going into that pod area even more tempting.
Lemmy looks like he's beelining over to that area too. Yep. Lemmy is, as chat says, doing the thing. He is on his way. He'll be able to check pretty much everything. Where are you going, Lemmy?
Because he's trying to find the best spot to mirror.
Okay. For everyone else, you can, in order to do the best one, it's in the gigantic kind of invisible maze where you pick up the monkey. So if you just get closer to that, lot of love, and red mail. Okay, so we have an armor upgrade there.
Oh, that's a good point. Lemmy still doesn't have the bow. They haven't gone to Skullwoods yet. So it makes sense that they just went, did those 3 checks, and left.
Yeah, unfortunately, Rambler ended up taking a death there on Cold Stare after clearing everything out. So he's going to have to work his way all the way back, and it can take a little bit of time.
Lemmy doing Houlihan.
Maybe try. Yeah, I don't know if he's gotten Zora yet. Or he did?
More money for Pod? No, he still doesn't have that bow, so if Pod happens to be bow locked, he's not getting very far. Unless he potion glitches. Looks like Zyler's going to show us what is on Graveyard Ledge. And it is...
Drum roll.
Nope. Just a little bit of love.
I gotta feel like Pod's the play. We have done some of these overworld checks, but Pod just is screaming to me right now.
Zelga might be heading over there. Maybe? I think he is.
Yeah, at this point, Tar Wars, it is Pod Eastern. It's got to be something over there. I can't think of anything else. Misery Mire's completely out because we don't have the flute yet, and I really don't want to see it, Frank. Keep in mind, there is also one item that has been abandoned in Swamp Palace that's on the left side. I mean, it could be there, too.
That is true. And I remember somebody in chat pointing this out, that I think the chest in Dark Cross was also abandoned. So that might be something too, though it might be worthless. I was not counting items.
I think it is an item, but I also thought I saw someone try to go back there into Dark Cross early on when they were making the checks to do it, but I'm not sure. For the record, the Homer Bunny sprite is terrifying.
Yeah, not a fan. Alright, Rambler fixing off against Cold Stare. As Zelga is just about to show us, is Pod bow locked or not? Not that it really matters to him, because he has the bow, but we shall see. And it is not. So Lemmy could have dipped at least a bit into Pod.
Here's the interesting thing. Zell still doesn't have his second sword, and I don't know if he's ever going to dive down there to get it. Because as soon as he finds his cane, he's off to the race.
Yeah, so far Lemmy has been the only one to find that second sword, because he's the only one to go in and do the front of escape. As Lemmy picks up his ice rod there. So, purely in terms of items, Lemmy is the most ahead because he has that Master Sword there, but he's definitely at a deficit in terms of dungeons compared to Zelga or Rambler.
Zell and Rambler are absolutely ahead in terms of the dungeon count. Their checks have just been incredibly smooth, and their fights have been incredibly smooth. You can tell how practiced they are.
Yes, to be fair, there are 2 other swords. Also, to be fair, those other 2 swords could be in, say, Ganon's tower. Who knows?
Alright, so Xylo finishes his Mothula fight, while Lemmy works through Ice Palace. Rambler gets scammed, and Zell is setting up the hammer yump.
There we go. And a map for his troubles. Oh, there it is! The cane!
But he's still looking for a sword, so he's gonna go ahead and open the rest of the treasure chests.
I'd imagine that after this he's going to save and quit out. There we go. So Zelga is just a sword away from Go mode, though he's doing what I think most everyone expected him to do if he found Kain before getting that other sword. He's just going straight up to Turtle Rock, probably going to open a bunch of chests, hoping that there's a sword in one of them, and just take it from there.
You know, I can't help but think I would have finished at least those 3 treasure chests that are right next door. He did the hammer yump there in order to get over there. There's 3 real easy checks just in the other room. And if there's a sword over there, man, it would be devastating.
Yeah. Imagine that the other 2 swords are between Eastern Palace and Pod.
Hey, I'm going to give a quick shout out to Wired Wolf in chat, who just found out about Legend of Zelda Randomizer and has been mainlining us over on YouTube. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you. Welcome to the community. And for you or anyone else who's interested in running, we'll try to get a link to our Discord and to our website if you ever want to run Link to the Past Randomizer yourself.
Or if you just want to hang out with us and watch a bunch of weekly races, also acceptable.
I do have to say, this is one of the most welcoming online communities that exists out there. And the internet gets kind of a bad rap out there, but this is the high quality, top notch internet that is good for your life. So welcome, join us.
Oh, and there it is, a sword for Zelga.
Yeah, he's done. He's not opening anything else. He doesn't have to anymore. He is done.
Yeah, so I guess that, what was that, an hour and 5 minutes? Official Go mode. That must be a big load off of Zelga's mind.
I can't help but think so, yeah. And so far, we'll see if he'll be able to steal the key and just skip Laser Bridge. Yes, I think he might be getting away with it.
Oh, that is true. Technically, Zelga is in Schrodinger's Go mode because the big key in Ganon's Tower could be on Torch. However, we do know that the boots are in fact in Turtle Rock. So in the worst case scenario that the boots are required, it's not too awful to have to come back into Turtle Rock if he doesn't happen to find the boots in his natural going through of Turtle Rock.
Yeah, and see there, Zell is going ahead and opening this treasure chest. He's actually, he was looking for the big key, but I gotta think that he will also be looking for the boots as well as he's going through. No reason not to check the treasure chest. He might skip the big chest, but that's all.
Yeah, having the boots are nice even if Ganon's Tower isn't boots locked, but... So you might as well, go and check these chests while you can.
Yep, and going through this door does indicate that he's at least skipping that particular spot. Xylo Price actually also doing the thing, but here's the interesting thing about Xylo Price. He's in Palace of Darkness right now. He hasn't done Ice Palace yet, so he's going to be full clearing this, hoping to find the Ice Rod as well. He won't, but it'll be interesting to see what else he finds here.
So just checking in with some of our other runners. Lemmy doing hammer pegs here. Rambler might... No, not entirely sure where Rambler's heading. Thought for a second he was going to go Dark World and then get a pod, but clearly he has something else in mind.
There's the small key, and yeah, Zell's opening every other chest. He wants those boots.
There they are.
Gotta go fast. All right. So we are now officially in go mode.
Oh, that's what Rambler was doing. He needed money for pod, so he has to farm some rupees.
Ooh, that feels bad.
But at the very least, the fact that he's getting those rupees means he's headed to pod. And since Rambler's already done Ice Palace, that'll be go mode for him.
There is an interesting question in chat, and I want to talk about it in a second. But we're getting to a very important part of our race here.
Zelga doing some hammer strats here.
You know what? He kept that room clean. Hammer strats on Trinex are not always easy, but he made it look easy.
And there we go. Trinex is dead. The crystal just about to fall into Zelga's hands. So, what does that mean for chat?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else in chat, it's time for your favorite Ganon's Tower Big Key guessing game. There are 22 item locations that could possibly contain the Ganon's Tower Big Key. 1 through 22. Go ahead, get your guesses in chat. Tell you what, I'm done with my announcer voice. So, yeah, we'll give you a shout out if you get it. So,
You will win the grand honor of being correct for today.
yeah, just pick a number. 1 through 22. And don't pick pi. Don't be smart aleck here.
Pick an integer. All right, so Zelda entering Ganon's Tower, left or right? Today, he goes right.
Yep, starting out in the Hope Room.
1 and 2. 2 keys. Continuing on right. Leaving our lovely tile room behind.
Meanwhile, checking in on our other folks. Lemmy looks like he's going through Skull Woods right now. Has the bow. Rambler finishing up, or he's in Palace of Darkness. He's still looking for his cane, but he will be done shortly after.
Yeah, poor Xylo in Eastern still trying to find that ice rod. What was that? 3, 4, 5? A shield? 6. Still nothing yet.
So far, it looks like left side is the preferred play at this point in time. But again, you don't necessarily know.
7, our torch, just a regular key. So Ganon's Tower was not boots locked today.
Yep, and Bob dies, unfortunately, with getting that. It's been so long since I've seen Bob, actually.
8, 9, 10, 11. We must keep going.
Okay, to explain all the Rip Bobs in chat. So if you do not get the item on the torch, it actually glitches out the anti-fairy just before the Ice Armos room, and it flips out a little bit. So, but if you get the item, it doesn't glitch out. So what people have decided to do is name the glitched out anti-fairy Bob. So if you get the item, then Rip Bob. It's a meme. Welcome.
$13, a hard piece. Off to Rando Room. The room that you only see in Rando.
Yeah, I didn't even know this room existed when I was a kid. I'm like, what?
14, 15. So, if you guessed 15, good for you.
Let me scroll through everything. Give a shout out to everyone who guessed 15.
Mind of me.
Mind of me? What? One of our trackers.
Yeah, so today, honors go to the trackers. Regardless, Mind of Me, even if it was weird hybrid route 15, it's still 15, you still win. Hooray for our lovely tracker here, and both of our trackers.
Meanwhile, Rambler looks like he is on his way up to Turtle Rock now. Lemmy getting another crystal. He's just 2 dungeons away, but still needs to go into Pod to get that Cane of Samaria. Looks like Xylo has the cane and just needs to do some cleaning up. Needs to do Palace of Darkness, Ice Palace, and Turtle Rock as well.
Now, Renderer. The trackers are people too.
Yeah, this may come as a shock to people out in the community, but we are just as blind as you guys. We're not given access to the seed early or anything. We're making it all up as we go along as well.
Zelga taking quick work of that land mow as Xylo enters Desert Palace.
As Zell is climbing up the gauntlet here, just reflecting on this seed, this is one of those seeds that very easily could lead people astray and do all sorts of weird things. But if you just kind of kept your nose down, did the dungeons that you were supposed to do, looks like, Zell is going to post a quality time here. Zell still hoping to find some other sword. Couple extra checks because, let's face it, Master Sword Ganon, still not any fun.
No one wants that.
Half loot.
Hey, we better leave. Go to Meyer.
It's gotta be a sword and higher, right?
Maybe Moldorm will be really nice and have a sword in his lunchbox.
I have never seen anything worthwhile in this treasure chest. Not once.
I saw silvers in there once. And it was really funny because I think it was a stream like this where 4 people were racing and only one of them checked the chest.
Gotta save the frames. I appreciate it.
Alright, time for our geometry boss.
Ooh, nice double. That was a rough angle to hit there, and he got it. Yeah, geometry boss is being kind of a pain, but he gets it.
There we go.
2-1-1-0-1, and we are off to Mr. Blue Bacon himself.
We get to see the duck at this one moment in time, and that's it. Truly a tragedy.
It's true. On the stats at the very end of the game, it will still say that you've looted once.
Alright, so unfortunately Zelga, after opening all those treasure chests, just has Master Sword here, but Zelga is an experienced runner. It shouldn't be too much of an issue for him.
No, it's not too much of an issue at all, but it's something that he's got to be awake for. Master Sword Ganon is Not fun. Oh, gets the nice corner. This'll make this one go a little bit easier. That helped so much to get through that second phase, to get to phase 3.
Stop moving, Ganon.
I can just hear Ganon go, yeah! Yeah, you want to hurt me.
Why, yes, we did find the arrows in the Dark World.
And he gets the torch glitch as well. Zell is doing incredibly well. And can he... No, he's just going for singles. He's not trying to push him.
And there we go.
Meanwhile, Rambler is finishing up his Turtle Rock. Lemmy is in Palace of Darkness for the puzzle piece. Xylo in Ice Palace. And as Zell crosses the most dangerous 1x3 in the bridge, he does take first place, not only on stream, but in the entire community race. Zell Gadesian in first place with an official SRL time of 1:21.48. GG's to Zell Gadesian.
Yeah, truly, that was an impressive run there.
Yeah, it was incredibly fast, and here he is, the man, the myth, the legend, joining us right now, Zell Gadesian. GG's, man. How you feeling? That was fast.
That was fast. I'm feeling pretty good. Thanks for the GG's. This honestly, it just started out friendly, and I just kept finding the next thing to do. That's really all I can say.
Were you worried at all going into Turtle Rock with only regular fighter sword?
A little bit, but not super. I mean, when I went to Pod to get Samaria, I didn't have a ton of great options left anyway. So, like, Pod, Eastern, Sahasrarlo was my best choice. But, so I was kind of thinking, even if the swords weren't in Turtle Rock or Ganon's Tower, I kind of had a feeling I could probably find them. But in the end, it worked out. I got the sword before I even got boots, so it's all good.
Yeah, we found one of the other swords was actually in the front of Escape, but I think that fourth sword is still MIA.
Okay. One of my proud points of the run is that I didn't visit the uncle. Every run that doesn't involve the uncle is a good run, so I'll take it.
Oh, poor Rambler. I think he ran out of magic there, so he wasn't able to do that final strike that he needed with the Ice Rod on Trinex.
So, Zell, we have a couple new people in chat that's actually just hanging out with us, found some YouTube videos, and they asked a real interesting question, and you being the expert, I would like to ask your opinion. What is more important? Is it just getting lucky in the randomizer, or or routing, or good mechanics of the game? What's the most important part of randomizer in your mind?
A very large portion of it is honestly just get kind of going to the place that you can do with the most checks. But at first, it's definitely your routing, just going to the most efficient spot. And then it kind of goes to execution, like, okay, don't die. Just make sure you know how to fight bosses. But then it goes back to routing. Like, after that, once you've got the execution of not dying, it goes back to routing, where you're, like, trying to infer things that you see. And then after that, it goes back to execution of, well, it's randomizer. There's going to be stuff in dumb spots. So execution is what keeps you in the middle of the pack when you last location stuff. So it kind of goes back and forth. But when you're just starting out, just focus on knowing what all the items do. Going to the most efficient spots for the most part.
Good words of advice.
So, if I can summarize, is that just you saying get good, scrub?
In much more words, I suppose so. But it's a multi-step process.
Fair. That's fair. It's not just getting good, it's telling us how to get good. I appreciate that.
Oh, poor Rambler. Once again, he ran out of shots on his ice rod to defeat Trinex.
Xylo also taking a death, but had a backup fairy on Cold Stare. Just about done. Gets that knocked. So Xylo Price, only with Fighter Sword, only has Turtle Rock to go. He'll find one there. He absolutely will, but I imagine he's a little nervous about it.
Please, Rambler.
Yeah, I'm not sure
No.
what... Oh, so rough.
At the very least, you can say that he is determined.
Yeah, I'll admit I got kind of bailed out getting a blue potion from the waterfall fairy right at the start of the seed. It was initially my plan to use it on blind, and then I got a full magic container in Thieves Town, so I didn't have to do that. And then I was able to use it on Cold Stare, and then he dropped another blue, so I didn't feel like I had to go out of my way to get another one. So that was really convenient.
Okay, so I think I figured out what Lemmy is doing, guys. I just pulled up his personal stream, and he has Thieves Town marked as the third pendant and not Misery Mire. Lemmy is looking for the flute.
Oh, well, he's not going to be able to find that flute because we know that flute is in Ganon's tower. Ugh, that's not good.
No, it's not, and I hope Lemmy comes to that realization relatively soon. We'll be looking forward to it. Meanwhile, Xylo is now at Turtle Rock, and Rambler is trying to finish things up here, giving it another go with Trinex.
Alright, everybody in chat, send Rambler your energy. Come on, Rambler. No.
Oh, no. Out of magic again, and he's going to keep going. I tell you what, this happened to me just a couple nights ago as well when I was finishing up a stream. Same sort of setup, Master Sword, Trinex, no half magic. Sometimes you got to know yourself and leave. The problem with leaving, though, is we can't flute away. There is no good way to go back and get some blue potions.
Yeah, not only can you not flute away, but then you have to both reclimb Death Mountain again, and then you have to go through all of Turtle Rock again, because unfortunately Turtle Rock is one of those dungeons that it does take a while to get to the back. Ugh. So I understand him not wanting to leave, but at the same time, it's very heartbreaking. You can do this, Rambler.
You got to appreciate, though, the spirit that it takes and kind of the internal fortitude to you know, when one boss is giving you a hard time, to keep pushing at it over and over. And in this case, Rambler says, "No, I'm just going to mirror out and save some magic. Hopefully."
Well, looks like Lemmy's about to head into Turtle Rock as well.
And just a point of order for chat, second place in this race did just finish Sabatender at 1:30:02. So, Zell, you beat everyone by almost like a full 8 minutes and change. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I'm really happy with how this run went. I just kind of kept doing dungeons and it kept paying off. So I think the big thing was probably that the hook shot was kind of. I already had Dark World access by the time I kept going to that, and I could see where maybe that might have held some people up.
Don't you wish this was a qualifier of some sort?
Oh, this was way too friendly to be a qualifier. Those things are disasters on their own.
Rambler lining up his shot.
No!
Oh!
He gets the shot, but then the fireballs get him. Oh, but he had a fairy.
Hey, he
There
got
we
the
go.
second head down.
And there we go. Trinex has finally been defeated for Rambler. He can head over to Ganon's tower.
GG Rambler, finishing up his final crystal dungeon. He will be on his way over to Ganon's tower shortly. Meanwhile, Lemmy and Xylo are both in Turtle Rock right now. Lemmy still has not gone back and done Thieves Town, unfortunately. That's... Oh, man. We've all been there, though, haven't we?
Oh yeah,
Now
personally,
just-
I've definitely, when you accidentally mark the wrong thing, because you're never gonna reopen the map once you've already done it. So it's just, if hopefully Lemmy's playing with music. I have the stream muted, so hopefully maybe they can tell that they'll have pendant music over crystal music.
And nothing kind of gets that shake off. It's like, okay, I got that boss down. So you can kind of shake it loose a little bit and keep going. Wired Wolf, there are multiple speed gaming accounts because we speed run not just Legend of Zelda Link to the Past Randomizer. In fact, give me a second. I'm going to pull up our schedule and plug that while we have a chance. For example, we have, looks like a Magic the Gathering Arena run that's going on over on Speed Gaming 1. We have this race that's going on. We do have another qualifier that is going to be tonight on the main channel on Speed Gaming, the original, at 11:15 Eastern Time, so stay tuned for that. We also have a Mega Man 2 randomizer that is going to be at 10 o'clock this evening on Speed Gaming 3. So it's not just Zelda randomizer, it's all sorts of randomizers, all sorts of speed runs. Come on and join us. Zelda's the best, clearly, but
It's a little unfair saying Zelda is the best, though, even though I love Zelda so much. Because there's so many good games of Zelda.
Okay, this Zelda randomizer is the best.
Ooh, Lemmy checking out Mimic Cave.
Yeah, he's still looking for that flute. So, Lemmy has the third sword. He might find Butter Sword before anything, because he's already done, I think he's cleared out Eastern as well.
Right. Oh no, the shovel in the big chest. That's gonna send Lemmy off on a digging adventure.
Meanwhile, Xylo looks to be setting up for his wonderful Trinex fight. Very similar to Rambler in this. Doesn't look like any potions. Just the Master Sword. This might be a little...
Well, chat says that Lemmy is in fact playing with sound. So hopefully if he goes into Thieves Town again, he'll hear it. Unfortunately, sometimes even if you are playing with sound, you just don't really pay attention to the music. And since I believe the item on Blind was the map, they may say, oh, there's no item on Blind, I don't have to go back there and beat him. Oh, and Xylo going down. Trinex is just taking everyone's life today. Thankfully, he did bomb that area for Laser Bridge, so it doesn't take him long to get back into that fight. And Rambler picking up his big key, so he's going to head up to the gauntlet.
Lemmy, meanwhile, getting ready to bomb out the wall. Also taking the safety. Lemmy is going to have a significantly easier fight on Trinex because of that Tempered Sword. I cannot reiterate the difference between Master Sword and Tempered. It's just a night and day difference in every aspect of the game.
Yeah, so the big question that I'm wondering is, where was that last sword?
We cleared out a lot of mire. Like, we're talking Bob's chest and
A lot of Ganons.
Yeah, well, not a lot of Ganons.
He said a lot of mire.
Well, I mean, we have Mire, but we also have, in Ganon's Tower, we have Bob's chest and then Ice Armos, and I think every other treasure chest was open.
Oh, that is true. There's always Ganon's Tower big chest. Could be in there. The ultimate prize.
Meanwhile, Lemmy, like I said, it was just night and day difference.
Oh, no, Lemmy! Has that backup fairy, that's good. I said it once, I'll say it again, Trinex is just...
He's wrecking people today.
Yeah. He is out for blood. But With that fairy, Lemmy manages to pull through. It's their second to last crystal. Now just needs to head over to Thieves Town. But will they do it, and when will they do it?
What?
Oh, Xylo, no. Do you have a fairy? Nope. Oh.
Official Trinex is the deadliest boss today. He's deadlier than everyone else. He's got more kills than I think Zell has.
And I think, yeah, Xylo is noping out. Maybe going and getting some blue goo to help him out.
And it does appear to be what he's off to do.
Hey, Lemmy. Thieves Town. We need to go to Thieves Town. Oh, he may be doing boots checks.
Oh man, yeah, there's these boots checks, these overruled boots checks that we had forgotten about too. Oh my.
Oh, well, Dorm 2 is down. And thank you, the Bass Beast, for 50-bit donation to our lovely speed gaming channel.
Oh, and Xylo dead rocked.
Just adding insult to injury there.
And now, okay, he was able to sneak by. Whew.
Rambler did a geometry bar.
Lemmy found the fourth sword. Bonk rocks.
Well, I had that question. I have an answer. I'm satisfied. If nothing else, Lemmy can say they got all 4 swords.
This is true, and here comes that shovel check.
And just some love. No, Lemmy, check the map when you're in the dark world, not the light world. Go to the dark world. I think he's a little bit confused right now.
I do not blame him for being confused in the slightest.
Come on.
He wants to know what else to do. Yeah. It's that thinking. You can see it thinking. I've never seen a cursor emote so much as you can when you're at the pause menu and going, what do I do?
Alright, so very least he's heading to the dark world. Hopefully we will be seeing a map check here for him. Rambler, no!
But he has a fairy. He got a safety fairy.
Come on, let me check your map. You did it in the light world, do it in the dark. Oh, is he headed back into Swamp to check that one chest? It's on left side.
Yeah, he is.
Oh no, Lemmy. And no, Rambler. Fairy the second. Yeah, Master Sword Ganon is definitely not trivial.
No, but he's on phase 3 now. Phase 3 is, phase 2 is the most difficult when you're on Master Sword, and he does have silvers.
But only 4 hearts, so he does have to be careful. Alright, so Lemmy and Swamp. Oh, poor Lemmy. Well, Xylo is in Turtle Rock, just finishing it out after having getting all the blue goos. Hopefully, Trinix will be a little nicer now.
I can imagine so. Oh, Rambler just finishing the miss. His lamps appear to be a little bit off.
Did not get Torch Glitch, but I think Rambler will be okay. And there we go. Everyone get your GGs in chat for Rambler. Just has to cross this bridge and he is done. And there we go.
GG's Rambler finishing officially in 13th place with a time of 1:46.40. All right, so Lemmy is now on left side swamp, so we'll see what disappointment waits us on left side swamp.
And we are joined by Rambler. GG's.
GG's, everybody. All right, before we get into the interview, just how far behind of Zelda was I? Because I saw Zelda put up a 121 on this.
I think right when you were first entering Turtle Rock, like you were right there with him. He made some.
I'm assuming he went to Eastern before Death Mountain, and that was the main difference. Because I'm in Pod. Because I was thinking when I found Bow and Skull, I was thinking about going to Pod myself, like right away, thinking that progression would be there. Sure enough, it was. The Samaria was behind the Bow, but I could have easily had second or third in this race if I need to learn how to do Hammer Trinix.
Yeah, Trinix was a big issue for a lot of our runners here.
Well, when you're forced to do it with Master Sword, and like your only other option is to leave, get half magic, and come back. I wasn't doing that, so I had to took me about 5 or 6 tries before I finally got him down.
Yeah, both Lemmy and Xylo both had issues too.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough fight. Trinix is one of those fights where the game expects you to have half magic and tempered or butter sword when you fight a vanilla, and when you fight an MG, you have tempered sword at least. So we're doing basically what the low percent runners do, and I am not practicing that. If I had same thing with the Cold Stare fight, I died in Cold Stare. If I had tempered sword, no problem, easy fight. Even Ganon, I had to use 2 of my fairies. I knew it was going to be a struggle because of the Master Sword. But I thought my routing was pretty spot on. Except maybe I didn't have to do Swamp early because it didn't have anything. But I figured, I got Hammer in Hype Cave. Might as well do it while I'm over there, especially when I know the boots are up and turn.
We found out that the other 2 swords, there was one in the front of Escape and there was one on Bonk Rocks.
Alright, so it didn't make sense at all to go into Escape the way the seed played out, but I guess, I'm assuming everybody got the purple chest sword as the first sword, and everybody got the Turtle Rock sword as the second sword, and that was it, because front of Escape, there's no reason to do it, because you had progression taking you to other places.
Yeah, and this whole seed felt like it flowed pretty well. I think the only thing that was really, I would say, hidden and out of the way is that King of Samaria that was in Pendant Pod. Other than that, everything just kind of got laid out in front of you guys exactly where it needed to be.
Yeah, I was very shocked when I found Ice Rod in Ice Palace. I was not expecting that. You saw I paused a little bit because I was not expecting to find Ice Rod in there at all. And then when I did, that's when I told myself, all right, Samaria's probably bow locked. Let me go to Pod next. And you notice, when I went to Pod, I didn't bother stopping Sahasra. I knew it was going to be bow locked. There was a reason why they gave us the bow. I mean, if you give us the bow when those two are pendants, there's got to be a reason for it, so...
Yeah, just to answer the original question you had, I did go up the mountain before going to Pod, but it was like literally the first thing I did once I left the mountain and found what Turtle Rock was go to Pod.
Oh, poor Lemmy. Going into Pod, going to Helmasaur.
This is kind of a classic, oops, all dungeons. Maybe not, okay, maybe not classic, not in the traditional sense, but it's still very much, oops, all dungeons.
Yeah, I suppose, Rambler, you probably don't know this, but Lemmy accidentally had a misclick and thinks that Thieves Town is a pendant.
More specifically, that Misery Mire is a crystal, so hunting for the flute, which is in the treasure chest just before Moldorm 2.
And speaking of treasure chests in Ganon's Tower, Zylo's just about to get their big key, so they'll be heading up the gauntlet.
Couple swipes with the butter sword, and that's good. Meanwhile, Zylo Price is in the mimic room.
Well, Lemmy, where are you gonna go next?
Mirror overdue Eastern.
I guess you might as well at this point. Just check the map.
And just a reminder to everyone, over on the main Speed Gaming channel, the SG Live link to the past qualifiers will be starting here in about 25 minutes. So please, I love if you guys want to stay here and hang out with us, but I understand I'm not the most interesting thing going on tonight. So feel free to head over to those qualifiers.
Yes, and I believe the type of seed done during the qualifiers, it's open, no hints, correct?
I believe so, yeah.
So if you want to see something like this, except no hints, you know where to go.
So, Gurglicious, can someone explain how this randomizer thing works? Sure. The basics of it is that all the items in the game are jumbled up. All the treasure chests, every treasure location, anything that you can pick up, anything that would result in Link doing the fanfare where he raises it up above his head. All of that is randomized. Now, there's some logic that is built into the game so that you have to be able to finish the game. Absolutely. And even right now, the logic is built in that you can logically still open up every treasure chest. You don't have to, though. So it's just get your items, clear out the dungeons that you need to, and begin it. Now, because all the dungeon rewards, crystals, and pendants are shuffled as well, the different dungeons that you have to complete are also mixed up, and which order you complete them is mixed up. So it's just a fun little randomizer. One of the superior ones that's out there, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, I do have to agree with that. I think one of the strengths of A Link to the Past randomizer over some of the other randomizers is that there's really multiple ways of getting to the same area or doing the same thing with different combinations of items. So for instance, you can get to desert via the book, or you can get to desert via Titansmiths and flute. And because of that versatility, I think that's one of A Link to the Past's rando's biggest strengths.
Absolutely. And the Randos community has been around for a while. Like I said, I'm on about year 2 right now being a member of the community. Other people have been around for much, much longer. Again, and if you're new to it, go ahead and Google us. We're around. Join us. We'd love to have you.
Well, Lemmy is starting to head in the direction of Thieves Town. So hopefully they'll go in there and kill Blind.
No, going in the right direction.
Come on, Lemmy. You know you want to go into Thieves. And you do.
Looks like Lemmy's been in, maybe just the first 4.
Yeah, so what I worry about is that, if I remember right, the map is on Blind. So I hope that they don't, look at the chests, say, oh, there's no item on Blind, and then leave.
Well, again, as we pointed out, there's the music for crystal dungeons and pendant dungeons are different. So hopefully Lemmy is hearing the music and going, oh, this is a crystal dungeon.
Hopefully. Though sometimes with everything going on, you just aren't paying attention to the music. But hopefully, we will see a dead Blind in a few minutes. And speaking of dead things, Xylo killed his Aga. So he is going to be going off to Ganon for his final fight. Alright, Xylo. Take down this pig. You can do it even with masters.
Yeah, Master Sword Ganon is not necessarily easy, though.
Has to watch
Oh,
his
that's a
health
good
there.
setup. It's a good setup if you can get up into the corner.
Alright, so it does look like Lemmy is getting the maiden, the fake maiden here. So hopefully that means they'll go and kill Blind.
And Xylo is using a little trick there. If you... Oh.
Must have uncaped too soon. And that is a game over. So one of the positives about defeating Aga is that it does open up that hole into the Ganon fight. So it's relatively easy to just go get some potions if you need it, get some fairies if you need it, or arrows or whatever. And Lemmy is in fact facing blind right now. So they will see, if they don't know already, they'll see that crystal. And then they can head right up to Ganon's tower.
And the final crystal. GG's, Lemmy. We knew you had it in you.
Alright, so Xylo got his blue goo, heading right back to Ganon. Maybe not right back. Oh, poor Lemmy, he's looking at that map now, sees that green pendant on Meyer. That has just got to sting.
Yeah, I'd be cussing up a storm. Oh no, Xylo. So Xylo went over to open King's Tomb, maybe hoping for a miracle. We know that another sword is actually just over there in Bonk Rocks. Or alternatively, you know, in the escape sequence. Also picking up a safety fairy. That's a good idea.
I have to say, SwagNet has really helped us out during this run. Seems like a lot of fairies have been.
Do want to give a shout out here while I have it. Kajata, 1989, finished in 21st place with 203.24, but that is a personal best, improved their personal best by 42 minutes and 55 seconds. GG's,
Oh, wow.
Kajata. That is a massive improvement there.
Very, very nice.
All right, Xylo's on to phase 2, the most difficult part of Master Sword Ganon, as you guys have been able to tell from this point in time. There's just not a lot of room to maneuver, and when you have to spin with that, just makes it a little bit. You know, Lemmy is entering Ganon's tower now.
Going right first. I think all the runners tonight went right first.
At least started out in the Hope Room, and I think most of the meta now has you start Hope Room. I mean, there's some that will have you go Hope Room and then go over to the left into the Staphos Room and then come back over to the right. And there's some interesting routing maximization that's been going on in the rando community, and I love it. Lemmy, meanwhile, for the memes, only one to open up Tile Room.
At this point, he might as well. On the very off chance it happens to be it. Well, and Xylo only having 1 heart there, still has that fairy. He's using green goo to power the cape. Good strategy, I approve.
Just a big 20.
So many big 20s. I wonder what is the amount of money if you tally up all the rupees that you can get in the chests in Rando. I'm going to say a lot.
Yeah, I think that would be a safe assumption. Xylo with the torch glitch, which is good to see.
And there we go. Everyone get your GGs in chat for Xylo. He will cross this bridge and then be done.
Excellent. GG's Xylo Price does finish officially in 22nd place with a time of 2:06:36. GG's Xylo Price. Let's see if he's available for a quick chat.
Meanwhile, Lemmy making his way up the tower. Still hasn't gotten that big key, but we know it's in random room, so we'll get it relatively soon.
Yep. And guys, remember, I'm gonna keep plugging it on the Speed Gaming main channel. We have the final qualifier is tonight. And joining us now is Xylo Price. GG, sir.
Thanks. Oh man.
So can I make you really, really depressed here, direct?
Is it about tempered?
Yes.
Was it in Escape?
It was indeed.
There was one in Escape. There was another one. We saw you went up, got your potions after the first Ganon death, went over and checked King's Tomb. There's another one in Bonk Rocks.
Of course there was. I had a rough time with that Master Sword.
You weren't the only one. Trinex had, added a lot of kills to his record on this particular seed. Master Sword Trinex isn't a whole lot of fun, especially when you don't have half magic. And I think the only one on stream who didn't die to it was Zell, who came in first place overall, but everyone else, I think, died at least once or twice, if not more.
Well, that's something. And it was a welcome upgrade from the Fighter Sword, which I had for every other day.
Yeah, Lemmy was the only one who entered Turtle Rock with 2 swords. Everybody else just had the fighter sword going in there. So other than the sword situation, have any other thoughts about this seed?
Why didn't I just go back and buy bombs in the beginning?
we were wondering at some point. We were like, "Oh no, he doesn't have bombs."
I did so many useless things because I didn't have bombs, and then it was just a fun seed to remember that I'm not the best at the game yet.
Everyone's got to learn at some point. The fact that you're still learning, but you still volunteered to go on the restream, that's a lot of pressure for folks. So good job to you for putting yourself out there while you're still learning.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Was there any point in the seed that you felt maybe a little bit turned around by it or confused, or what was going through your mind as you were going through?
The only real problem, besides realizing that I didn't have the ability to do certain things, was I guess I mismarked Eastern Palace. I thought it was a crystal. Other than that, I had a pretty good idea of what to do. I just made some questionable choices. Like, Swamp probably could have waited.
Yeah, I think Swamp had magic powder, and that was about it. Which gave you Lantern, or Lamp, which is nice, but not super required or anything. Super required by your level of Dark Room ability.
I know how to do Dark Room, but I bet I will just continually die in the season. And also, Eastern Palace Dark Room is like the easiest Dark Room in the game, but you still need something to show you where you.
True. If you don't have a sparkle or anything to kind of track where you're going, it's real easy to get lost at the dark rooms, even the easy ones. I do want to give a shout out. Keglin the Closet finished in 23rd place with a 2:11.27. That did improve their personal best by 8 minutes as well. So, a couple of personal bests in the community from this season.
Yeah, I feel like the seed, there were some parts of it that were really nice, and then other parts of it that just were completely awful.
Honestly, though, it wasn't too bad if you just listened to the seed. I think it could have gone a lot better for me, at least. But I didn't really do that. And yeah, try next. Love to help.
Well, just something to practice for in the future. If that ever comes up again.
Oh yeah. If I had a tempered or butter, I'd have try next to the number, but that Master Sword.
Yeah, you typically go into Turtle Rock so late into the seed that you're just used to having a better sword.
Or at the very least, half magic, which would have been a big help.
That's something that we still haven't found yet.
No, we still have magic.
That's on Bombos.
Oh,
yeah, it was on the tablet. Right. We saw it relatively early on, but unfortunately couldn't get it because he didn't have a Master Sword until so late. Oh, be careful, Lemmy.
Oh, and these Agas are now out of sync.
Anyone know why Lemmy used ether before going in?
I think just frustration.
Yeah, so you probably don't know what happened, Xylo, but there was a misclick on Lemmy's map, and they thought that Thieves Town was a pendant and Meyer was the crystal. So they went around a bunch of places before they realized. So that's probably why they're frustrated.
Oh yeah, that's a huge time sink. Ah, horror.
But Ag is down. Ganon left.
A nice easy butter Ganon too.
Indeed.
Alright, well I guess I'm gonna head off to bed. Thanks for commentating, guys. Thanks to the trackers, I appreciate it.
All right, and thank you for being one of our wonderful racers on this.
Of course, I look forward to hopefully doing it again sometime. GG's, everyone.
GG's.
Let me very heads up in this second phase. If you are on the if you're using the cape and you are pulling the wall, like if you're grappling it and pulling it, it doesn't actually drain your magic. So that's a great little trick that Lemmy just highlighted there for.
Yeah, and since Lemmy has those extra swords, Butter Silver's Ganon is going to be a lot more straightforward than Master's. Looks like they got Torch Glitch.
Just kind of waiting for an opportunity, looks like.
I think they have Blue Potion. And there we go. Everyone in chat, get those GGs in there for Lemmy.
All right, GG's. Commenting 24th place, 218.03. GG's, Lemmy. Putting a cap on this thing here. Just a reminder, if you guys stay tuned, we're going to try to pull Lemmy in here for a quick conversation, but I think we're actually going to be rating SG1 immediately after, so stick around if you want to join us and as we jump over to there for the qualifier race. Don't forget, there's still all sorts of other things going on here in the Speed Gaming Network. Not only is there the qualifier, there's also a Mega Man 2 randomizer that is still going on, I believe. And that's going to do it for us tonight between the qualifier and that, so make sure to follow Speed Gaming 1 through 6 for all of your speed gaming criteria. We can be on any one of these 6 channels at any point in time, so got to give us all a follow sometimes. Other than that, I do want to give a shout out to our trackers for the seed, Mr. Scruff Ninja Tuna, and Mind of Me pulling double duty, not only doing the restream for us, but also tracking. Thank you so much, Mind of Me. And joining us now is Lemmy. GG's.
Hi, thanks. Yeah.
We were kind of screaming at you the entire time about why are you looking for flute? Please stop. Please.
Yeah, is that cause I tracked wrong and don't see it that the pendant is Misery Meyer? Yeah.
Yeah, it was just heartbreaking because you opened the map in the light world, but you didn't open it in the dark.
I had open, but I tracked wrong, so it's not so good.
Yeah, unfortunately, these things they do happen, and they just feel awful when it happens. But you pulled through, got through the seed.
Yeah.
It absolutely takes some extra stubbornness to get through a scene like that when you don't know what's going on, and it ended up saving you some heartache because no one else actually found the sword and escape. Everyone else skipped it. So while you were bopping along and clearing out bosses relatively quick because you had Master Sword and then Tempered Sword for Trinex, everyone else was struggling with Fighter Sword for almost the entire scene.
Okay. Wow, yeah. But then I searched for the flute and everyone passed me. Yeah. It started so cool, that seed. Yeah. Do someone found the flute or?
Flute was in Ganon's tower.
Yeah. That was the last checks.
Second to last check, actually, the room just before Moldorm 2.
Oh, okay. There was it. And no Tyrone for me, huh?
We appreciate you checking. That was the one thing we hadn't really seen yet. So we're like, oh, great.
My thought was there, if there the big key, then it could be a little bit quicker. But, it wasn't.
Well, we're going to try to get things wrapped up so we can head on over to the qualifier. Do you have any final thoughts on the sequence?
Flute, no, please.
I understand immediately. And I do encourage you to go back and rewatch because Zelga Deason, who finished in first place, was also on the stream. So it'll be a great learning experience just kind of seeing everything side by side with that.
Yeah. If I don't search for the flute, I could be quicker, right? Yeah.
All right. Thanks again, Lemmy, for joining us. If you like what you saw, everyone, make sure to give all these runners a follow: New York Rambler, Zelgadesian, Xylo Price, and Lemmy. Other than that, White Wolf Host, do we have anything else to add before we get out?
No, not really. Just stay along with us so you can watch even more Rando.
Love it. We'll see you guys at the next race and have a great rest of your evening.
Goodbye, everybody.